Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow wants the TTC's new subway cars to be built at Thunder Bay's Alstom plant. Good evening, I'm Haley Perot alongside Ryan Bonazzo. Thank you for joining us. The Ford government is also on board with the plan to sole source the $2.2 billion contract to Alstom rather than open it up to all bidders.
Chow says she's now lobbying the federal government to make an exception to its rules for awarding big contracts like this one. Jonathan Wilson reports.
Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow used a news conference held by Premier Doug Ford to bring up a major transit priority for her, getting the contract for 55 new subway trains awarded to the Thunder Bay Alstom plant as soon as possible.
Persuade the federal government to exempt the 55 subway cars, that it needs to be a tendering process so that we could immediately take the jobs and put it in Thunder Bay and build those new subway cars right here in Ontario. But we're waiting for the federal government to give us the go-ahead.
This is great news. It's what we've been hoping for, was that Olivia Chow and the province are both going to be supportive of us getting the contract. Now, again, it'd be nice to see if the federal government, who originally said that they would like to see these cars built in Thunder Bay, it would be nice if they would approve this process and get it done fast.
TBT News has learned that Chow met with Federal Infrastructure Minister Gregor Robertson on May 28th and with Prime Minister Mark Carney on May 29th, urging them both to grant an exemption in the federal tendering rules so the contract can be sole sourced to Alstom.
I hope that if the federal government approves this and we get the contract signed, that it'll help speed up our process and we could get our guys working on this within the next couple of years. It's bigger than the 24 to 36 month lead time that it would normally be. I'm hoping we could speed that up.
Chow says she's optimistic the federal government will get on board. Robert says he hopes it happens very soon, as more than half of the union's members at the plant are being laid off in stages this summer due to a lack of work.
Oh, we are desperate to get this work. Right now with our layoffs and the morale in the building, there's nothing to look forward to. And this contract would give our members something to look forward to, a future to look forward to, and some job security to look forward to.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
A helicopter involved in firefighting operations near Sandy Lake First Nation had to make a forced landing on Monday afternoon. Fortunately, the pilot wasn't seriously injured. The Transportation Safety Board says the incident involved a Bell 205A1 aircraft. The helicopter is owned by a company that's been contracted by the MNR to help battle Red Lake Fire number 12. Shortly after scooping a load of water into its bucket from a lake, the aircraft's engine stopped working. The pilot, who was the sole occupant, released the water load and was able to make a controlled descent without power into a shallow part of the lake. He was largely unharmed, but was taken for medical evaluation. An MNR spokesperson says they're thankful the pilot is safe. The TSB and the ministry are looking into the cause of the incident.
The demolition of the historic James Whalen tug wrapped up earlier this month, and officials with the Thunder Bay Transportation Museum have managed to secure a few pieces of the vessel to put it on display at the Pool 6 property.
The group is now making arrangements to have a barge transport the items in July. Jaden Billick has the story.
Marine Recycle Corporation was contracted by the City of Thunder Bay for just under $600,000 to dismantle the 120-year-old vessel. The work took just a few weeks, and officials with the Transportation Museum convinced the demolition company to give them several key components. The main piece is the captain's wheelhouse. The group also received the stack, the engine room skylight, and a section of the stern quarter with the tug's name. They're currently being stored on TBT Engineering's property next to the Cam River, and come July, when there's a break in the cruise ship activity at Pool 6, they'll all be floated down to the Transportation Museum property to be displayed next to the Alexander Henry.
We're going to be doing a move using a tugboat and barge, where we'll pick up the wheelhouse, put it on the barge, and it'll do one last sail to Pool 6. And we're going to arrange them to be in a configuration similar to how they were when the ship was still in one piece, and we will redo the wheelhouse and the captain's quarters to what they were back in the 1900s.
The historic ship was a mixture of original parts and a few components that were part of a restoration project done in the 1990s. Peterson says there's a lot of work that must be done to those remaining parts of the vessel before they can even start building the display at Pool 6.
We'll be rebuilding the entire ship area that we have to what it was, and that's going to take a lot of work. We'll be trying to find volunteer welders and people who are interested in doing the recreation of it.
Peterson says the museum is currently in the process of negotiating the lease at Pool 6, which is currently a year-to-year arrangement. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
Community members and City Council got an early peek at Thunder Bay's Smart Growth Action Plan this week. It's still being developed, but it outlines initiatives that are expected to grow the city's tax base, strengthen its workforce, and attract new residents and investments. City Manager John Collin presented the report at City Hall alongside Commissioner of Growth Carrie Marshall, Jamie Taylor with the CEDC, and Senior Advisor Matt Pearson. The plan emphasizes the importance of growing Thunder Bay as the city hasn't seen significant growth in over a decade. Between 2016 and 2021, the city's population grew just 1.3%, well below the Ontario average of 5.8%. Mayor Ken Boschkoff asked if they're confident they'll be able to rally all city staff together to make the plan a success.
I could see that our senior executives are on board. Do you have the confidence that you're going to be able to inspire the rest of our civil service in terms of energizing this so that everybody's firing on all the cylinders?
They are really excited. We talk to them about the opportunities where they see their areas contributing to growth, and we've had really great conversations, lots of idea generation, and it really does feel very positively received across the organization. So I'm looking forward to working with everyone to make this happen.
The public can review draft elements of the plan and provide feedback through the city's Get Involved website. The city's also hosting 2 town halls, one next Wednesday evening at Mary J. L. Black Library and the other next Thursday at the Oliver Road Community Centre.
One person was taken to hospital with smoke inhalation and burn injuries after a fire at a home in Westport this morning. Thunder Bay Fire Rescue crews rushed to a home on Gore Street around 7 o'clock after a passerby reported seeing a lot of black smoke. Superior North EMS was also called, and paramedics transported the occupant to hospital. The house sustained heavy fire damage on the main floor, and many of the windows were boarded up soon after the flames were extinguished. The fire is determined to have been caused by the improper disposal of a cigarette.
Well, most people try to avoid getting stranded in the middle of nowhere, but some brave volunteers were willingly marooned today at the lighthouse in the Thunder Bay Harbor for a good cause.
The United Way hosted its 3rd annual Great Lighthouse Rescue fundraiser. Jessica Clement has the details.
For the 3rd year in a row, groups of castaways journeyed to the Breakwall Lighthouse to purposely get stranded until they raised enough funds to be rescued. This year's Great Lighthouse Rescue saw 22 teams receive a boat ride in the local harbor, including the Thunder Bay Symphony Orchestra.
That's it.
All of a sudden the fish are going to start jumping.
Fire Dog Communications, and the Deck Foundation. Kevin Main with Deck didn't hesitate to get stranded for charity. He says he wants to make an impact in the community, adding that Overall Electric will be matching all the donations he gets, dollar for dollar, up to $5,000.
And this is what it's all about, is us giving back so freely. As a person in recovery, this means a lot to me. If everybody would just help one person, that person gets well and passes on, helps another person. And eventually, everybody will be fed, clothed, and housed.
The funds raised from the event will stay right in Thunder Bay, supporting 3 key missions: All In for Youth, Pathways to Home, and Nourish the North. United Way CEO Albert Brule says this year's fundraising goal is $50,000.
But on top of that, we have a matching challenge from our honorary commander, Cliff Friesen, of $25,000. So donations will be matched up to $25,000. That's another opportunity that businesses that want to help inspire people to get involved, help motivate people to donate as much as possible. Matching opportunities are always great for that.
The actual rescues were executed by sailors of the HMCS Griffin. Brule says it's always incredible to see the community come together for these types of events.
The Dewdrop Inn is doing their barbecue to offer, a snack to the volunteers that go out. Sleeping Giant Brewing Company is here, and they're offering a sample of their Better Is Possible smash lager, which has proceeds to support United Way. So it's just all of these, folks coming together to make a difference in our community.
The Great Lighthouse Rescue's donation page will remain up until the weekend. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Well, there are certainly worse days to be stranded, marooned for a good cause today, Fiona, because we had temperatures reaching up into the high 20s, at least it felt like it.
Well, it certainly did, especially in some parts of the city. It might have been a little cooler along the lake. But for the most part, we had a beautiful day, temperatures above seasonal. We actually topped out with a high of 26. That's after starting the day with 12 Celsius. But that 26 actually felt closer to about 29 with the humidex. Winds were very, very light, so I'm going to say the south side of the city might have been a little bit uncomfortable at times with all that heat, but it was a beautiful day with skies fluctuating between partly and mostly cloudy skies this evening, though not looking too bad at all. Now, across the region, we've got Fort Frances with some showers. Right now at 26, the humidex makes it feel closer to 28. As we head up into Kenora at 26 also, then we hit Red Lake, just 20 Celsius. Now, it was a little bit warmer earlier, but it is starting to cool down. They had a mid-afternoon thunderstorm pop up. Right now, the humidex is hovering around 24. Then we hit Pickle Lake, quite a bit cooler at 12. Sioux Lookout, just 17. So you can see where there are pockets of cooler air working their way in. Armstrong and Greenstone, loads of sunshine and temperatures in the mid-20s again. Winds are a bit brisk, though, north of Lake Superior at about 35 and along the North Shore, 24 in Nipigon, but then you hit Marathon and Wawa, and they're experiencing winds off the lake. That's keeping things a little bit cooler, so that's why they're sitting at the high teens. And Sault Ste. Marie, despite being mostly cloudy, temperatures are sitting at 25, but again, it's the humidex that makes all the difference. Right now, it feels closer to about 30 on the eastern shores of the lake, so kind of a mixed bag in certain areas. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to drop down to a low of 11, but first there is about a 30% chance we might see a pop-up shower, but after that, partly cloudy overnight, winds very light from the east, 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. And as we head into the second half of the work week, well, news may not be quite as sunny. It's looking pretty gray for the second half, and that comes with temperatures taking a bit of a tumble. They're going to be dropping down into the teens, and you're probably not going to be seeing much in the way of humidex. With that, there's also a risk of showers that's going to be for Thursday, Friday, into the weekend, into early next week. We've got a shot at rain off and on for much of the next few days.
Okay, thanks a lot, Fiona.